from the start. So we're going to talk a little bit about detoxes and cleanses, and I'm going to share a little bit of my research into what I found by looking at this. And I'll tell you all that everything I'm talking about here tonight, I've actually done myself. And I'll tell you what I think is the most effective, because there's a lot of choices out there. And, the first and foremost, like, why should I cleanse? Like, what's the reason behind that? Well, the food we eat on a regular basis is very, very impactful on your digestive system, right? So, number one, we really want to rest the digestive system as a whole. And when you do that, that has so many amazing benefits. And one of the first benefits that you get is that it reduces oxidation. And that's what happens. Basically, you rust from the inside out because of the foods you eat. To break them down requires oxygen, and that oxidation creates a lot of havoc and problems for the body. Many claims about improved energy, many claims about weight loss, relief from constipation, which is always a good thing, and resolved headaches, muscle aches, and fatigue. So these are really the main reasons why people will enter into a cleanse, and we'll talk about when are the best times to do. And actually, we're entering one right now, and which is super exciting. Above all, I'm going to say this again later on, you really, whenever you're doing any type of cleansing, you really want to listen to your body. So here's the thing. Over time, you've added things or been exposed to things in the environment and or your food that have caused a lot of problems internally, and you don't want to strip them away too quickly. So if you are not really in great health, you probably would want to do this cleanse with someone who has a great understanding of how it's going to impact you, and some type of healthcare practitioner who has a lot of experience in cleansing. So again, more eating less actually causes a lot of great things to happen. It improves your mood, it improves your sleep. Many people report an improved sex drive because we're affecting testosterone and estrogen for women, and it aids the mitochondria. And those are the energy centers inside your cells that actually do a very, very critical job when it comes to taking the foods you eat and making them into energy for the body. To look at a little bit at the history, and history of modern detoxification movement grew out of mainly the naturopathic origins. So a lot of the doctors of naturopathic medicine were firm believers in this, and detoxing was a medical jargon for treating serious conditions such as alcohol poisoning and or kidney failure. So there's a long history of that. But when you go even further, you have to look into the Greek and Roman and Indian and Native American cultures, who all had their own methods of using detox. So the Native Americans, for instance, use a lot of herbs and herbal medicine. Traditional herbal medicine has been used and continues to be used by many cultures across the world, and they do that. And give you a little personal history. When I was seeing my acupuncturist, Dr. Jew, in Connecticut many years ago, it was springtime, and we were talking about doing a cleanse. And he gave me this potpourri of herbs. And he said, just boil these and drink this liquid 3 times a day. Folks, I didn't even get to drink the liquid. It was so gnarly and so nasty. I was like, I wanted to throw up every time I drank it. So I never got through it. But in his culture in China, they were doing this. This was the detox of choice for many of them. Again, there's many, many methods that different ways of doing it, from fasting to supplements to using saunas to dry brushing, rebounding, which is, rebounders looks like a little trampoline that you can use to help move the body, herbs, water, rest, meditation, and various exercises. And all these can be part of a detox program. Again, when you're doing your homework, what have you heard? What's your research? And, taking condition in consideration, anything that you might feel that might be problematic for you. So for some people, a master cleanse is not the way to go because they might be diabetic and they really need to eat. So you got to be very careful when it comes to this. Here's the thing, when you really look for the research about these methods and the different types of detox, there's not a lot of supporting research. So what does that mean? Well, what do I resonate with? What are the outcomes I'm looking for? Sometimes people, Beyonce did the master cleanse for many, many weeks, and she was doing it mainly for weight loss. And so you have to look at that, and how are you feeling day by day, And you have to be good at monitoring your own health and wellness when you're doing this. Again, what might work best for you and what are your goals are two of the main questions that I would personally ask. We've talked about this ad nauseum. I mean, harmful chemicals are just everywhere. Foods, one of the guys told me recently that I met, he said, I don't even put my suitcase on top of the bed when I go to a hotel, or I don't let it touch a wall because I don't even know what that thing's been sprayed with. It's going to get it. These are just ways we all get exposed through foods, environmental toxins. There's so many ways that it can come with cleaning products. And so this is one of the main reasons what we're looking to do. And these toxins, as we've talked about, get deposited in our fat cells, in our bone marrow, in our brain. Like they just get taken up everywhere. And that's not a good thing. That accumulation of toxins over time is going to wreak havoc with us. Again, claims of boosted energy, clearer skin, weight loss, better sleep, more energy. These are common throughout any of the detoxes that we're going to talk about here. Again, you might want to talk to some people if you've never done this before, get some support. A lot of times people will detox as a group to get better ways to have a little bit more support while you're going through this process. Now, there are some people out there, and this is true, that, the body is always in a state of detoxification. That's going on right now as we're listening to each other and we're having a conversation that's going on. But sometimes we need that added extra rest of the GI system and or supplements to help move us along to push those things out so that we're not holding on to them. Number one is your liver, right? And it plays a key role filtering the blood, removing harmful substances, helping you get normal function, getting rid of external toxins like drugs, alcohols, chemicals, petrochemicals. In the main system, as we've talked in the past, is that CYP450 enzyme system, 50 genes allocated to that enzyme system. And that was actually identified by Dr. Bernard Brody many years ago. And so the liver is always doing its job. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here having a conversation at all. So there's some level of detoxification going on at all times. Now, the kidneys are the other part, which we have to help along. So they help filter the blood and remove the blood in the form of urine so that we can excrete all that. So again, we're not holding on to it. So liver, kidneys, and there's another one, the GI system, that actually extracts the nutrients in the small intestine and takes the remaining waste, including toxins, and that can then be excreted. One that we might not think about so much is the lungs, and the lungs are a great source of actually excreting a lot of the toxins. And the toxins that enter our body through the air, these contaminants are expelled by coughing or through any other natural process. And so if you've ever been in a situation where, I was around asbestos as a kid a couple of times, and immediately I had a reaction of coughing. It was my body's way, my lungs' way of trying to expel that toxic material. Asbestos used to be used many, many years ago in the building of homes. They used to use it for, insulation in houses. And so many homes around the US still have that. All right. So again, one of the main goals of any detoxification program is to give the body a little bit of an extra boost and give you a little bit of rest. So let's take a quick look at some of these, and there's so many out there. Again, I've done pretty much all of them, and I'll tell you which one I really like the most. And so what types of cleanses are there out there? Like I'm sure you've all heard of one. And really, the first one that I would say is the most common is colon cleanses. And they come in many different types, many methods. Some are extremely costly. The main idea is to use water, fiber, and or supplements to flush all that gunk out of your intestines so you can start fresh. Again, that's really good. And there's a lot of companies out there that sell a lot of products to help you do that. Now, there's another thing, it's called a liver cleanse. Much like our colon cleanse, but our liver plays, as we talked about, a very important role in unwanted toxins. This 3-pound organ sits right under your rib cage, and be cautious with supplements as it adds an increased load on the liver. So we think, oh well, I'm just going to take a couple supplements to help my liver along, but that has to get processed by something. So the GI system has to work, the liver may have to work a little bit harder, your GU system, your urinary system might have to work a little bit harder. So I'm more a proponent of cleanses that actually don't add a lot of supplementation. Now, the master cleanse is my personal method of choice for cleansing. And you're drinking a concoction of lemon water, maple syrup, cayenne pepper, along with herbal detox teas for at least 10 days, and that's nothing else. Now, some people get to, the first 3 days are a bit of a struggle. I don't feel I quite need to go 10 days, but 3 to 5 days I think is probably a good suggestion for most people. So the maple syrup in there, you want to make sure you get a grade B maple syrup. It's got a little bit more nutrient density in there, and it may work in the short term. Many experts say it's not a good long-term thing. So you don't want to do this for 20, 30, 40 days. Many of the people, including myself, that have done this, what they do report is that there's an abundance of energy. And usually at about day 3, you're like, whoa, I haven't felt this good in a long, long time. This probably is the most affordable way to do it. Again, if you have any type of medical condition, you want to make sure that you're doing this under the guidance of a trained healthcare practitioner. All right. Other folks like the 10-day green smoothie cleanse, and high in vitamins and mineral and fiber. It does somewhat lack some other nutrients like protein that might be needed. So these people would drink 3 to 5 smoothies a day over the course of a 10-day period. All right, juice cleansing. Now, this has been around for a long time, and it's a great way to use to get a lot of vitamins and minerals from fruits and veggies, but without having to eat them all. And juice cleanses, which there are many different types, take advantage of this vitamin mega dose by having people replace all of their solid food specifically formulated with juices. Now, juices are very high in sugar, so we've got to be cognizant of that. These cleanses can be a great way to get your daily produce in, but experts warn that the juices are high, like I said, higher in sugar and lack a lot of the fiber that we need because we're not actually eating the fruit itself. Now, a detox cleanse, a lot of people that I've spoken to, and when you look at it, they really kind of warn against this kind of pill taking thing. The body's own mechanism for cleansing the liver and kidneys and colon and the lungs are really sufficient to do that. Again, why are we doing the cleanse? Are we looking to, what is our motivation for doing it? I think is a really good place to start for people. So, for me, if I'm doing a master cleanse, it's always, my motivation is to give my GI system a rest and to reset that so that, in 3 to 5 days afterwards, I've given my gut some appropriate love that it really needs throughout the course of the year. Now, you might not have heard of this next one. It's called Slendara garcinia, and this is a supplement made from a tropical fruit that bears its name. It's called tamarind. It's very high in fiber and boosts your serotonin levels in your brain, helping you feel fuller, faster. And so people would take this fruit and they would, juice this or use this and just eat it as that. And they really, it's not super popular in the United States, more so in other countries. I think if you just type the word cleanse into your Google your computer, you would probably come up with multiple companies that would be willing to sell you something. And so just know that a lot of these companies are out there focusing on herbs, liquids, and pills. Again, just be cautious, do your homework. That's really the most important thing I really suggest for you all today is really do your homework. And again, if you need that kind of guidance, doing it in a group is actually a really good thing. Now, there's another thing called the 7-day DETOX diet. And this is a way of using foods in order to get the same results, but you're still going to get to eat. So breakfast in the detox diet might look from a nice juice from carrots or beetroot or celery, mint, coriander, parsley, spinach, kale. You'd add a teaspoon of chia seeds to your juice and some extra fiber and to give you a power boost. Okay, so that was what breakfast might look like on a 7-day detox diet. Lunch, maybe some raw steamed vegetables with, organic, of course, mushrooms, spinach, cabbage, capsaicins, pumpkin, onions, garlic, ginger. These are all things that you would steam or cook in some way that you want so that you can eat them. And then dinner might be something a little heartier, like a vegetable stew. So we're not going to consume gluten, dairy, or sugar really all that much in this particular diet. Now that diet goes for 7 days, of course, and there's multiple books out there and references that you can actually look at so you could see, is this the right one for me? The snacks in this particular detox, you drink a lot of water, a lot of unsweetened herbal teas. You'd want to get at least 8 glasses of water a day, maybe have some nuts or walnuts or almonds or pumpkin seeds or even sunflower and chia seeds and flax seeds. And then eat low GI fruits like guava, pear, apple, orange, strawberries, peaches, plums, and apricots. Those are really low in processing on the GI index when it comes to fruits. So you can see for those who didn't really want to actually not eat, that want to continue to have some kind of source of nutrients via food, this might be a really good choice for, a first timer to do that. Of course, whatever detox you're doing or cleanse that you're doing, you want to make sure you're adding Young Living to that. So, to me, quite honestly, I love the master formula, but I'm still going to do enzymes. I'm still going to do my Life 9. I'm still going to do my mineral essence. I'm still going to do my Ningxia Red. Those are products which I really think would help be supportive of any detox that you choose. So Young Living does have a part in that. It may be a smaller part than what you see on a regular basis, but it still has some part. So, other items you might look towards K&B, ICP Dailey. And what a great way to get your fiber in. I mean, I've been using this product now a couple times a week just to get my fiber intake up and really make sure. And I really love how they've reformulated, and the taste to me is simply amazing. So Young Living does have a spot in there. How are you going to use it? And again, if you haven't done it before, make sure you've got the guidance of someone helping you. Some people just say, look, I'm going to detox naturally. I'm going to do things like add fiber. I'm going to drink green tea. I'm going to take some Super C. I'm going to hydrate and then hydrate some more. And then, once I'm done with that, I'm going to do some deep breathing every day. Remember, the lungs are a great source of detoxification. I'm going to check my stress level. I'm going to use the sauna. I'm going to get my dry brush out. I'm going to move my body, maybe doing a 20-minute yoga class or a 30-minute yoga class. And so there's always ways in which you can augment whatever cleanse you do, but you may want to do it just a little bit more naturally. Now, when is the best time to cleanse? This is always what I'm asked. And Chinese medicine actually tells you spring and fall. And Dr. June, my former acupuncturist, actually said to me, he said, I wanted to cleanse one time in the summer. He said, absolutely not. And I said, well, when am I supposed to cleanse? He said, when the temperatures in the fall and the spring actually change 10 degrees colder or warmer consistently for a week straight. So we're in the 40s and, say in Southern Tennessee here, and it's that way, that's a high, and it's springtime. And then all of a sudden we shoot up into the mid 50s and mid 60s for a week straight. That's the time when you would want to cleanse in the spring, and just the opposite in the fall. So knowing when, because he says that's the cycle of the liver, and that's really the best time from a Chinese medicine standpoint as actually when to cleanse. Again, go slow and just monitor how you're feeling. And if you're not feeling well, you might want to back off and just rethink. Okay, so many times we feel like we have to push through and feel crappy just to feel good, and so that we're going to get the benefits. And that's not what we want to do. It was explained to me this way. If it's taken you 10 years or 20 years or 30 years to build up the toxic level in your body, you don't want to strip it away super quickly. You want to go slow and really monitor how you feel. Now, last but not least, I'm asked a lot about, well, hey, Ed, we've got this 5-day nutritive cleanse that we used to have. Well, Young Living is looking at that, and that is also another great option. So consider that maybe in the spring. I'm not sure when it's coming back online. I know that they're looking at this process and looking at how we're going to get it back to everyone, but just know that that would be another option as well. And so again, pick what you think is going to vibrate for you and how it's going to be the most beneficial for you. And then of course, do your research, and do your research.